Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Blessings to everyone. So most people think almost permanently on their trouble, no? But when you ask them what they are looking for, someday we say happiness and someday we say peace. And if you ask a politician, usually they say peace and this kind of things, no? Now, we have to understand that whatever we think, this is most probably what we manifest. Because it is the first platform of manifestation. No? Then when we think in a very emotional way, we feel it with the emotion also, then that would be the second level of manifestation. And then if we act on it, we have the third one, which is the most powerful and most visible. No? So that means when we think trouble, we are troublemakers. No? So we think all the time on our trouble. And we think how we can solve it. But you see, the nature of trouble is that it is for a long time not solvable. You know, there can be many things. There can be sickness. There can be financial problems. There can be relationship problems. One of it, usually it is in this field, right? Or career. And whenever you find yourself in a position like this, it is not a short thing. It is not something that you can solve immediate. Yeah. And then there is this bad habit of the mind, of the monkey mind, that is going round and round and round and round on this trouble. And this is how we become troublemakers. The same thing happens when you start to control your mind. And that is possible, that you decide for certain thoughts and that you let go certain others. No? So this is the secret, or this is the reason why we read holy texts, why we read poetry, why we would listen to sacred stories, and so on and so on, because this gives our mind a different input, a different food, and this is what manifests. So the one who is in a constant remembrance of high thoughts, of high sounds that we say zikr, and in the public usually is known as mantra. These people, they become peacemakers, and they will experience it in their individual life. And usually there are very few ones, because there is also this crowd of people that they speak a lot on their tongue, the mantra. They may also hear a lot, but in the higher etage, in the higher plane, they still think deeply on their trouble or on their worldly desires. So those are the things that will manifest, you know? And you just have to understand what is on the deepest level happening. And how can we know that? It is actually not difficult, because it pops literally out of our mouth. So when you hear a person permanently complaining about something, then this is what is there at the foundation. No? And when you hear a person that is in a happy state, that shows his happiness, then this is probably the person at that moment, at least, is in that foundation. And this is what will manifest. The mind says, the ego mind says, when there is no trouble, then I will be happy. I will be in peace. When there is this kind of trouble far away from me, when I have solved that problem, when I have solved this situation, then I will be in a good state. I will be in peace and everything is fine. And this is never happening, you see, because we are living in the world of these two forces that all the time have to play with each other. There is not a wave without wind. There is not an ocean without waves. You cannot have that. Even the ocean looks like completely calm. There is always a little wave coming and going, and sometimes there are bigger waves. And therefore, when the trouble is, which is always, because the world turns, and with it comes the trouble, right? But the wise person will not wait for anything to be solved. It will behave. It will start to think in a way that doesn't create trouble. That's the beginning. And if there is trouble, the answer is patience, but not a passive patience, an active patience, which means it is always accompanied by thankfulness, by gratefulness. No. These two things, they have to be there. And when you cultivate this, everything becomes easier. Everything will manifest lighter. No. But do not expect ever an ideal situation, because this is not going to happen. It cannot happen. Yeah. The ideal situation can only happen within. That means you can stay calm in the middle of the storm, as Jesus did when he was on the lake of Nazareth and there came a storm. And the disciples were very, very worried. And Jesus was just sitting calm there and smiled. And one of them said to you, "Oh, Jesus, how can you be so calm? We have a storm, we are going to sink, the boat is going to sink." And he said, "Why you have such a little faith? No. Why you have such a little trust? No." So faith, as we said it many times, should be the pillar of life. It should be the center of everything. Have this faith that your life is written with a loving hand. And we are not here to live a life on the sofa, yeah, or in the bed. We are here to live a life of all kinds of things, of challenges, of stressful situations, of painful situations. And we are observed. How do we behave in the middle of the storm, in the middle of difficulties? Are we cool? Or are we angry? Are we revengeful? Do we want to blame or punish others? And this is what we call tests. No? So try to pass the test on whatever it is. And when you fall, stand up again, try again. That's the way to reach lasting happiness and finally peace. Thank you very much. And blessings for all of you and your families. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.